Possible. Possible. Possible.
The Anti-Network, short takes. Let's talk about it. Dr. COMARK in the building with us, and we also got Brother Jay for another interesting topic for the people. Our dear brother, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons of Edmond, Oklahoma has been released. Oh my God, to 48 years of prison. 48 years of prison over something he ain't even do. Now, I don't want to walk you through this all butchy. That's why we got Dr. COMARK, who got more of the background. Dr. COMARK, can you tell the people how this situation went down, please?
So, Mr. Simmons, Glenn Simmons, was exonerated after 48 years in prison, and I hate to say it, he's now fighting stage 4 cancer.
Damn.
Mr. Simmons was convicted of a murder back in 1975, liquor store murder. After being pointed out in a lineup by a 21-year-old female who only saw him for a brief. Let's say this again, a brief. Anybody in the lineup, but just because she saw him for a brief second, they gave all the men in there. They was gonna give him a death sentence, but then turned around and gave them life in prison without the possibility of parole. After him being on parole for all these years, he turned around and finally said he was innocent. He always claimed that he was innocent because he was in New Orleans. Then turned around and said, "Hey, I want to be exonerated of these charges because of a technicality that they said they wasn't presented in the 72 hours they presented. He didn't get a fair trial." And so they did that. The judge said that they did not present all the evidence to the jurors in a timely manner, and he was exonerated on Tuesday.
And the brother went in when he was 22 years old. I don't think y'all understand. That's a long time to be in jail wrongly for convicted. And I think the compensation they did say, was it $150,000 that the states will
175,000.
$175,000. That's pretty crazy. $175,000.
I wouldn't consider that. I would consider that a big, middle.
If they give me. No, go ahead, Jada. What you were saying, brother?
I said I'd give. That's a big middle finger to me if they're not giving me that much for about 60 years of my life thrown away. That's basically my whole life. 22 years old, you're still basically a kid at that age.
And it's funny because you are 22. So let's just use some quick role reversal. If you was in this position at 22 years old, how do you think you would feel, brother? If you walk out the house right now, went to the liquor store, and again, a young lady lost her life, and you had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? And then you get put in a lineup, and you spend the next 48 years in prison. What would be your thought process behind it?
Man, that really would. Wow, that really overloaded my mind. It's for that to think that would happen for real. Man, that'd be crazy. I don't know how he actually stood that long in jail, and I'm surprised he didn't off himself or anything for that. You know what I'm saying? That's literally 60 years of his life gone, man. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't.
But
I couldn't process.
But just think about it. To know that you were innocent the entire time, but to know, and then you got 48 years taken off your life, and for you to get out, and they say, here's $175,000. You've lost walking time, you've lost time with your family, your friends, everything, memories that you could just not cherish. You're 22 years old. You nothing. You can't create no memories outside, and they just took it away from
you. Yeah, we only live once, man. That's literally you can never get that back, ever, literally.
So, and now you got stage 4 cancer, bro.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
That's even worse.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give it to him. No, Dr. Comer, I thought you finna kick that
I
game.
mean, I'm just I'm just saying. Now you got stage 4 cancer. So you just beat 48 years in prison that you just want to spend life on, and now you got stage 4 cancer. They basically you're terminally ill. You can't beat stage 4 cancer. You're literally coming out of death row basically because you was gonna spend life in prison to come out and die.
Well, if you don't mind me budgeting in, that's another thing. That's very sad to go through that process of spending, would you say, 40 years of his life in prison and being innocent, and then getting a disease that's deadly. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just it's very wrong.
Well, listen, man, we gotta do something with the system. The system, unfortunately, there's a lot of other people in the system just like this, and we, as America, or as the people who has the highest incarceration rate in the whole country, the whole world, of my understanding,
So sad.
we gotta do better. Nobody should spend almost 50 years in prison. And we had technology that was advanced that could have steamrolled this situation way quicker than it did. So, only thing I got at the end for this, R.I.P. Carolyn Sue Rogers. I hope they really find your killer. But again, man, this the Anti Network.